G'day legends, Mod from Mod Scale Models. I'm back. Again. Hey, I've been getting a few messages on the socials saying, hey Mod, how do you decant your paint out of a rattle can? And I thought, well, yeah, okay, it's quite an easy process. But then I thought, you know my saying, if you don't know what you don't know. So I thought I'd do a quick little how-to on how to decant paint in a safe manner, okay? So, because you got gases in there and we need to get the gases out of there. So there's a few little safety things that we should do. And I'll go through that as I decant it, because I'm gonna decant it in my spray booth so it gets rid of those fumes, okay? So, what do you need to do the job? Well, apart from an empty can, right? And talking about empty cans, this is a classic example, right? Obviously, I've been spraying a few. I call the 1%ers, right? When I'm spraying little bits and pieces, I might have a can of this hanging around. I generally keep it in my jar, but I always keep a little bit in the can for a quick little then I don't have to use the airbrush, right? I can clean up the airbrush. So, this one's empty. So-called empty, right? And what I'll do, I'll decant it and we'll see how much we get out of it that you can put in the airbrush and how much further you can get it, right? From an empty can, all right? So what do you need? You're gonna need a jar, all right? You're gonna need a jar or squeeze bottle. Excuse me, squeeze bottle. These are little squeeze bottles. You've seen me use these before. Got a little ball bearing in there. Give it a bit of a, you don't need to give it much of a shake up. More to mix the thinners with it, the leveler. So you're going to need a rag for clean up. You're going to need gloves, and you're going to need what I use, pointer. Okay, my old trusty pointer. All right. So the idea is you want to get rid of the liquefied propellant, which is in this can. Okay, so from you get X amount of paint, then the rest is full with liquefied propellant. All right, such as propane. All right, there's a few different names for it, but basically that's what gets it from there out of there. All right, I'll get set up in the booth, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how we decant it. Okay, so we've got our can ready to go, and all I do literally is I put a hole in, right? Hopefully this comes out, right? And before I release the remaining of the gas, I just push it this way a little bit, and then I let it out. Okay, and I'll just leave that for a minute, right? And that's done it's basically, God, that's obnoxious, that noise, isn't it? So then what I do, I just literally open it up a little bit, all right? And then I'll just pour off what's remaining. And look how much I got. That's empty. All right, get rid of the can. And look how much paint we got. Yeah, that's just from that leftover paint in that can. So what I'll do, I'll go back to the desk and I'll go through what you got to do next, okay? It's really important. All right, so I managed to do that without too much mess, which is good. So, as you can see, you probably can see it a bit better here now, right? Look how much more paint I got from that empty can that was no longer spraying the clear out. Yeah, so there's a fair bit there. So don't waste it. Put it in a jar and keep it for your airbrush if you've got an airbrush. Now, the reason why I decant most of my TS13, right? Because it is a good product. It's a good acrylic and I love using it. And I have got some ripper results with that clear over the years. I use it because I get better control, all right? Running it through the airbrush, thinned out with a bit of 400 leveler, okay? You get a much more control over your finish as opposed to the can, okay? So, hey, there's a little sort of free tip for you there. So, what do you do now? Now, this is the critical part. There's still lots of gases. If I give that a little shake, see the bubbles coming up? See that? Okay, so what I do, I put the lid on and I leave it cracked. All right, and I set it back in the spray booth overnight. All right, and what that does, all the gases will escape. If you put the lid on now and go and move it and brick up the next day and give it a bit of a shake, right? You're going to blow your head off when you open the cap. All right, so it's really important just to leave it. I leave it overnight. Yeah, just let the remainder of the gases escape. There's lots of different methods of doing it other ways, and you can put it in water and hot water and all this sort of rot. But this is the most simplex way. I've been doing it for 100 years and it just works. Okay, so, and then from there, what I'll do, I'll pour it into here and then I mix it off. So this is my holding jar. I don't put the leveler 400 in it. I put it in here and I mix it up and then away I go. All right. So there's a quick little how-to on how to decant paint in a nice, safe manner. If you like this content, like, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, let me know where you're from, if you leave a comment. Love that. And I will catch you on the next how-to. Cheers.